Good afternoon. Gosh, so excited. I'm learning and enjoying the ability to live stream. I thought it was that time of the year to talk about strategic planning, annual planning. I just looked up how long I've been doing annual and strategic planning, and I started in 2000 and let's see, 2000 actually. So it's 23 years. I'm actually working on our three E's annual planning. And so I thought I'd just share a few tips. Literally, I started out at GE. That's where I ran for 4 years and then started a career doing strategic and annual planning. And there, it's been a long time ago. Models have changed, things have changed. We would do the multi year strategic planning in the spring, annual planning in the fall. It was a rigorous process, it was a lengthy process. There were lots of reviews. Back in the day, it was famous to go to Fairfield and have Jack Welch and others review and approve it. But I did learn a lot of the foundation from there, and then have been tuning it for the last 23 years. So, with that in mind, it's that time of the season where we're all going to roll out institutional plans for, the enrollment cycle, retention cycle, advancement, and ongoing. And strategic planning is a big an important part of an institution's financial health and stability and achieving great student results, as well as any company that's going through the process here. So here are just three simple tips. They're simple tips, but it takes hard work to do this well. It takes a lot of time, energy, and focus, and often by a very elite and specific team who needs to be responsible for doing it. So I like to always start out and make sure it does start with having a good strategic framework or a market framework. Let's say a 3E or anyone, we think about the market as a whole, the kinds of problems that are out there to solve, the functional areas, let's say, of an institution or any of the areas that you're leading. And then we break them down and say, look, are these, what's the size? What's the size of the problem? What's the impact it would have? And you start to lay out really a market framework in whatever it is you are as an institution. That's academic programs, it's many different functional areas, but you map out the things that are available out there to solve. And then you start to ask yourself, where am I best placed? What can we do and we can do well? Back at the GE, we used to ask three questions. Is there a market? Is it worth solving that problem? Because it requires investment from everyone. And then why us? Like, are we the right ones to solve that problem? Can we make an impact? So it's not yes to everything. So the framework provides guardrails that say these are the areas we want to do great. These are the areas where we're willing to just be okay. These are the areas we're not going to get involved. When they're distractions, we don't do them well. Then you start to break that down. This is the key, is to take that framework, the yeses, the sometimes, and the absolute no's, and start to say, well, what does that look like on an annual basis over several years? Where do we want to go? Where are we? Where do we want to go? And how does that lay out? These are milestones, however you want to talk about it. Could be enrollment, could be retention, could be graduation rates. For us, it could be number of clients, it could be the impact of those clients. You start to break that down, and then you need to move it down into some seasonal or cycle, milestone points too. So I tend to break things down into quarters. There's many other ways to do it, but the point is you have a framework providing direction. You have annual milestones that stretch out over multiple years to tell you, are you on track? You break that down to some type of quarterly or seasonal milestone moments that says, are we on track to doing what it is that we want to do? Have we made the impact that we've desired? Have we moved the hard work, moving the resources, dollars, money, and budget around the critical priorities of your institution and or your organization? And then lastly, as you look at those quarterly goals, there's a fine balance between two things. My experience is you need things that you're committed to. These are unshakable commitments that you make, that the wins of the quarter do not change, because they're essential to your organization, to your institution, and you're committed to being excellent on it, or at least for a really long runway before any change is made. And then there's the learning that says along these milestones, things do change. You don't always achieve what you want, or you may overachieve in certain areas, and then you want to adjust. You say, this is not going well, I'm going to make a change. This is going well, I'm going to double down. And then you're constantly doing that. So really, strategic planning and annual planning is no longer so seasonal. It's not do this in the spring, do this in the fall. It's an ongoing effort in today's modern way of planning, adjusting, and being successful. You need to have a framework that guides your decision-making focus over several years. You want to have key annual milestones that align to that framework. And then you want to break that down within the year to some seasonal or quarterly goals that allows you to make sure I'm on track, I'm not on track. What am I committed to? What am I going to adjust? So again, there's about 23 years of experience. I'm constantly learning, changing, and evolving myself. I hope these 3 tips help you have a great strategic planning process, annual planning process, or if you're in the cycle of just updating and checking out your milestones. Hope this finds it helpful, and I will talk to you all again soon, I am sure. Have a great day.